Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, we'll be learning how to create a lower housing of a blower assembly. Now, technically, this will be a very small video series in which I'll be explaining you how to create a lower housing, the upper housing, and all related part of an blower assembly. So let us start this particular session, okay, with understanding how to create a lower housing of this, particular assembly. Now, as we have done assembly series before as well. Now, in that assembly series, I have already explained you how to create a complete part of benchwise and also how to assemble it. Now, this will be a little different. In this particular session, I'll be explaining you how to create this particular drawing, how to create this drawing in 3D, okay, and then finally how to assemble it and how to animate it to a certain extent. So that is all what we are going to learn in this particular set of videos. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so that I can, create this kind of videos in the future. Now, first of all, what we need to do is we need to start an X, okay, or any respective software if you're using, and you have to start with a new part file. Now, there is a basic thumb rule when you are doing an assembly in any software. The thumb rule is you have to save all the parts and all the files in the same folder. So, for example, if I'm doing a blower assembly which contain as of now 3 components, so I have to save all my files in the same folder which contain all the 3 components. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to browse, let's say, for my D drive, and here I'm going to add a new folder. Okay, so let's say I'm adding a new folder named blower assembly. So here I have added a new folder named blower assembly, and in this particular folder I'm going to save all my files. So here I have defined the location that my files are going to be saved inside this particular folder known as blower assembly. Now here I need to define the name of the file which I am right now making. Like for example, as of now I'm making the file known as lower housing. So here I'll just name it as lower, and I would prefer to have a underscore in place of a space, okay, housing. So here I have created a file with the name lower housing. So here the name of the file is lower housing and the name of the folder in which I'm going to save my file is this particular location. Now if you are using SOLIDWORKS or some software in which you don't define these things in the beginning, so remember, if you open a file, you just save it, okay, and define all these parameters in the beginning itself. Okay, so the file name is lower housing and it is going to be saved in D drive and inside the blower assembly folder. Now, if you are using NX, I want to show you one very important thing so that for all of us, NX behaves in a very similar way. If you are using NX and if you are new to this particular channel and if you haven't seen the introduction video of NX, I would recommend you to go to roles here on the left. Okay, so this is basically the resource navigator or the resource bar. Now in the resource bar, you have to go to roles, and here in role, you have to click on content and choose role advanced. Now once you choose role advanced, you have to click OK, but as I have already set it to role advanced, I'm not going to click OK. Now similarly, you have to click on presentation and choose role default. So this way, you will be making sure that for all of us, the settings remains or the entire UI generally remains the same. Okay, now what we are going to do next is we are going to start the creation of this particular file. Now, as you can clearly understand, it's a combination of rectangular and cylindrical bodies. Okay, so let us first start by creating, this particular cylindrical part. Then we will think about creating the bottom base. Now, to create this particular cylindrical part, we can see that overall diameter is going to be 12. Okay, so let us start NX, create a sketch. So I'm creating a sketch on the front plane, clicking OK for the sketch. And here what I'm doing is from the origin, I'm creating a circle which is going to be of diameter 12. So here I have created a circle of diameter 12, which is considerably a very small circle, okay, as we can notice over here. Okay, now after the circle has been created, okay, or after the circle is ready, the next thing what I need to do is I need to add this particular part to my circle because this is of the same length. As you can see, it is like a circle, and then this particular part has some holes so that we can bolt it together. Okay, so what we're going to do now is for adding this particular part, here we need to create a line of length 1.5 and then we have to create a line of length 0.41. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a center rectangle from the origin to make the work a lot easier. And here I'm going to define a distance from the origin till the bottom point. Okay, this gap is going to be 0.41. Now if you notice, the distance of 1.5 is given from this endpoint till here. Now technically I don't have an endpoint there. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to create a point and I'm going to place the point either on the circle. Okay, so if I just reset, so I want to place a point exactly at the intersection of the circle and the line. So what I can do is here in the point dialog, okay, I can go to this drop down and choose this particular option called intersection. Now this will allow me to select the first line and the circle, and that will place a point exactly at an intersection of the line and a circle. So this is the easiest way to place a point here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dimension from this endpoint till this point, and here I'm going to define a dimension of 1.5. So once I have defined a dimension of 1.5, this is how it's going to look like. Okay, so I have defined all the respective dimension which I needed. I'll click on finish for my sketch, and if you notice the sketch is very small, you can press Control F. Okay, Control F, that is for fit to screen, and respective software has their own way to get the data on the screen. So this is what I have created so far. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on extrude. Now in many software this kind of extrude is not possible, but yeah, actually it is possible in most of the software. So here I'm going to click on extrude. I'm going to choose this selection filter called region boundary curves. So okay, so that will allow me to select the regions. Okay, and I am going to technically select all the regions. So here I am selecting all of my regions. Okay, I'm not skipping a single region. Now I need to decide how much I need to extrude. So here I can notice the overall value for my extrusion is going to be 8 mm. Okay, so what I'm going to define here is the value of 8, and I want it to be symmetrical. So 4 on this side and 4 on that side. So once that is decided, I'm going to click OK, and this is how my extrude is going to look like. Okay, now I want to get rid of the top half. Okay, like I don't want the top half of this particular model. So I can simply, what I can do is there is a command here called trim body. Okay, I can access this command called trim body. Then I can select this as my target body, okay, which need to be trimmed. And here in tool option, I'm going to select face and plane, or face or plane. And here I'm going to click on this particular option called select face or plane. And then I'm going to select my top plane, that is the XY plane. Okay, now if the results are not similar, okay, it should be like this, the way it is looking on my screen. If the results are not similar, you can always use the flip button to change the direction of the cut. Okay, and this will allow me to create a cut like this. Okay, so now I can hide my sketch. Okay, you can hide the sketch either by clicking on the eye symbol over here, or you can right click on the sketch and choose hide. Okay, in both the ways you can hide your sketch. Once the sketch is hidden, then this is how this particular model is going to look like. Now once this particular part is ready, now next thing what I need to do is I need to provide certain other parameters. For example, here there should be a hole of diameter 3, and again there should be a hole of diameter 9.75. So this will keep it for the very end. Okay, this will not be worried about as of now. Okay, for now I need to create this bottom part. Now this bottom part is of length 14, okay, and this is of thickness 1.5 and at a distance of 5. Okay, to create that, what I'll do is again I'll start with a sketch. This time either I can start my sketch from the front plane or from this face. I would prefer this face for now, and I'll start my sketch over here. Now I'll create a center rectangle somewhere over here randomly like this. Okay, and then define all the dimension. So the length of the rectangle is going to be 14 and the height of the rectangle is going to be 1.5. So here I'm defining the length of my rectangle as 14 and the height of the rectangle as 1.5. So I'm defining the length and height as given or as mentioned. Now the distance from the top, okay, of this particular part till the top of the rectangle is 5. So here I'm going to define a dimension from the top of the part to top of the rectangle as 5. Now to make it fully constrained, I'm just going to align the center of the top line of the rectangle, the midpoint of the top line of the rectangle, with the midpoint of the top line of the object, okay, vertically. So these two need to be aligned vertically. You can do it in multiple ways. Either you can have a vertical constraint between the point, okay, or you can create a line and make it vertical. Now I'll click on finish, and this is how this particular sketch will end up looking. Now here I'm going to click on extrude, and this time I'm going to extrude it on the other side. Okay, and make sure the boolean is set to unite, so it is not subtracting the body. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. So here I have created an extrude with a distance of 8 mm. Now here in this case, I would encourage you to not use the value of 8 mm, because as of now, if you are using a value of 8 mm, then what will happen is next time in future, if this particular value changes, then you have to come back and change this value as well. Rather, what you can do is you can use this option called until extended and select the face. So that way, what will happen, the extrude will always go up to this particular face, and that will ensure that whatever the length of this model is, this particular base will be of the same length. Okay, so here I'll click OK, and this is how this particular extrude is going to look like. Again, you can hide the recent sketch. Okay, So up till now we have completed certain part of the lower housing. It is looking like the one we were supposed to make. The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to add few holes over here. Okay, so this holes are of diameter 0.41. This hole are separated with a value of 2 mm, and from the bottom it is separated with a value of 1 mm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on this face, and I'm going to click OK. So as we can notice, we are creating a sketch on this face. Here I'm going to add a circle, okay, and I'm going to define the diameter of my circle as 0.41. Okay, so the circle diameter has been defined, and here this gap, the distance from the bottom till the center of the circle, is going to be 1 mm. So here I am defining 1 mm as well. Okay, and if you notice, from the side it is 0.75. So let us define that value as well. So from the side it is going to be 0.75. So defining all the values, all the related values for the circle. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use pattern, and here I'm going to select this circle. Here I'm going to choose linear pattern. In linear direction I'm going to select my y-axis. Okay, and here I'm going to choose spacing as count and pitch. The count will be 4 and the pitch will be 2. And here activate this option called create pitch expression, so that you will end up with a fully constrained sketch. Okay, so here I'll click OK. This will allow me to create a fully constrained sketch now. Now finally I can choose mirror. I can select all 4 of these circles, and here in the center line again choose the y-axis, and this way I can create a mirror on the other side. Okay, so I have perfectly created the holes or the required holes over here. Now I'll click on finish, just select the circles and choose extrude. Now here the extrude is going up, so I'll use the direction flip button over here, reverse direction button over here inside direction area to change the direction. Okay, next I'll choose this option called up to next, so it will go up to the next surface, and here I'll choose to subtract, so that it only subtracts up till the next surface. Okay, again maintaining the design intent so that you don't have to change the value later on when it is required. Now once this particular part is done, I'll click OK, and this is how this particular part will end up looking with all the holes. Now next thing what I need to do is I need to create this cutout kind of thing from the center. Now this cutout we have to leave a distance of 0.25 from both sides. Okay, and this cutout will have a particular diameter. Okay, and the diameter will be 0.25 less than the original diameter. So that is 12 mm is the original diameter. Okay, so this will be 0.25 less than 12 mm. So how I'm going to create this particular circle is I'm going to create a sketch again in the center. Okay, or else what you can do is you can create a sketch. Okay, I'm going to use a different technique this time. Okay, so I'm creating a sketch on this face. Now here I'm going to first start creating a circle, and then give a dimension between this circle and the outermost circle, the dimension as 0.25. So that is the thickness of this particular part. Okay, so once I have defined this value, I'll click on finish. I'll choose to extrude. Okay, I'll change the direction. Now here I'll set the boolean to none. So I don't want to unite, I don't want to subtract, I don't want to do anything of those two. Here I'm going to select in place of value, I'm going to select this option called until extended. I'm going to select this face and I'm going to click OK. So this is how this particular face is going to end up looking. Now what I need to do next is I need to make sure this leaves 0.25 from either sides. Okay, as we can notice 0.25 from either sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this option called offset. Okay, in synchronous modeling, I'm going to select this face and also this face, change the direction to inward and offset it with a value of 0.25. So here I'm offsetting this with a value of 0.25 and I'll click OK. Okay, we are almost there now. I'll hide my sketch. I'll use the subtract command to get rid of this extra part. So for that I need to select this as my target body, and here in tool body I'm going to select the cylindrical body offsetted one as a tool body, and here I'll make sure keep target and keep tool is off, and I'll click OK. So this is how the subtract is going to look like. Now for completing this particular part, what we need to do is we need to add 2 holes. Okay, so we need to add a hole of diameter 3 and we need to add a hole of diameter 9.75. So let us first start adding a hole of diameter 3. For doing that, what I'll do is again I'll create a sketch on the front face, and here I'm going to create a circle of diameter 3. Now once I'm done with that, I'm clicking on finish, choosing to extrude. So here I'm choosing to extrude. I'm changing the direction and choosing through all. Okay, and here I'm choosing subtract. So once I choose subtract and through all, this is how it's going to look like. Now I need to decide where the diameter of 9.75 should come and where the diameter of 3 should come. Now as you can see, both the lines are solid. That means the 9.75 is in the front and 3 is in the back. Now if suppose 3 is in the front, then the 9.75 line will look dotted. Okay, so here I need to change the diameter of this front hole to 9.75, and to do so what you can do is you can go to synchronize modeling. You can choose this option called radial dimension, and here you can choose diameter. You can select this hole, okay, and make sure you don't check any of these, okay, and just change the diameter to 9.75. okay. So let me check, is that the diameter we are looking at? Yes, 9.75 is the diameter. Okay, so here I have just changed the diameter to 9.75 and I'll click OK. So this is how synchronous modeling can make your work a lot easier, while creating this kind of parts. Now once you have done with this, you have to save the file. Okay, and if you remember to give the color, you can also give a different color to this particular part and save the file. So if you have followed along till here, okay, and if you have completed this particular part, so all the best. And if you have seen the video till this particular part, consider subscribing, as most of the viewers who are viewing my channel are not subscribed to my channel yet. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.